All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. Sitting right next to me is Michael Murbug.
Hey, Lou.
How you doing, brother?
Great. Good to be here.
Hey, for those of you who are actually listening to the station before, sorry to cut off Gary Wright Dreamweaver there for you. But anyway, we're welcome back, everybody. It's Wednesday night here on Tan Talk, 1340 a.m. This is the imho.love show. It's in my humble opinion, .love, that's the imho part, and .love is a suffix that you can get too if you have a website and you're tired of the .com and .nets. .love is available. Here we are, folks. Here we are at the beginning of summer here, the end.
It's technically still spring. It was 92, 93 degrees out there. It was so hot outside that the Mexicans didn't even go outside to work.
They didn't?
No, didn't see any. Home Depot was empty.
Those guys are absolutely amazing with the heat that they can put up with. And they wear long sleeve shirts and long pants all day long, cutting grass and running those weed blowers and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like Donald Trump said, is that no great American building was ever built without Mexican labor. And he's absolutely right. You know, my hat's off to those guys.
Yeah, really.
Just as long as they don't dance on them.
Right. And it's better than Barack Obama's quote that Muslims built the fabric of our nation.
Oh. He might have been thinking about muslin.
Muslin. That's what. It was just a spelling error. It was muslin. It was the fabric of our nation.
Barack, learn to spell, will you? Crying out loud.
Well, folks, we are live here on Facebook, and thanks everybody for showing up. We sure love you a lot. Let's see, we're live here on Facebook. We're also on tantalk1340.com, and you can watch the show live streaming there on the YouTube link. And of course, the show will be transferred to imho.love later on this evening when Kathy, our loveliest production lady, moves those over. And it'll also be captured on BitChute. It's on, you can hear the audio on Podomatic, and there's a couple other sources too, but imho.love is the homepage. And of course, there's an imho.love Facebook page too. So like us, share us, send it to your friends. And the show it's kind of a mix. One of the things we cover is CE5, or like we are kind of like renaming it, HICE, which is human initiated contact experience.
Close encounter. Contact experience.
I like contact experience.
I like contact experience too, but it's also a close encounter, at least the way we do it. So
yeah, it's true. And what that is every month, if you go to Darby Ranch CE5 at gmail.com. Is that correct?
Actually, my email address is darbyranchce5 at gmail.com, but there's also a Facebook page. CE5. I don't know what it is anymore.
That's the
email me.
That's a young man's game.
I'll send it to you. It's like we can rename the show Two Geezers and a Microphone.
As opposed to Beck's.
It's like I gotta actually look it up. It's actually Tampa HICE/CE5 Darby Ranch, Florida, USA.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it is.
So, brevity is the soul of wit.
That's why I can't remember it. It's just got too much
long.
stuff on it.
It's too long.
Well, yeah, I'll have to cut it down.
Yeah, we got to trim that.
Yeah, something I can remember, like Darby Ranch CE5
Esquire. Please consult me on marketing.
That's where it is.
Yeah. Okay. And what that is, for those of you who don't know, once a month we have a gathering out there in the country, out there in a little town called Darby, out there by Dade City, and we gather for a peaceful meal and a meditation, and we go out and have a lovely sky watch, which usually lasts several hours, and sometimes we actually have extraterrestrial sightings.
I wouldn't say sometimes. I would say in going on 2.5 years of this, we have only, out of the 36 or almost 37 nights that we've done it, we've only had 3 nights where we hadn't had contact.
Wow, that's very good. So sure, that's a batting average I'll take
any day.
And and what it is, and even if we do see everything quite often, and sometimes it's just one or two things, but some nights the sky is just full and really, really beautiful stuff. And even if you don't see anything, it's a beautiful rendezvous of people, of a collective mindset. Everybody out there is just peaceful souls, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to get outside of ourselves, look up to our extraterrestrial family, because Michael explained a few months ago on the show the difference between aliens and extraterrestrials. Would you mind recapping that?
Yeah, extraterrestrials are humanoid in nature, and aliens are not.
That's now you have brevity.
Now I get brevity. If like Einstein said, if you can't make it simple, you don't understand it.
That's true. That's true. And the aliens are from another source, another star system.
They could be anything, but the non-human intelligences that we often deal with are interdimensionals, transdimensionals, and some people even say that they exist in the same area on a different plane. That's why we can summon them so quickly.
I completely agree with that and totally believe that. And the thing that I like, the simplified part of it for me, is the extraterrestrials are out there, and we are the terrestrials. We are here on Earth. We're terrestrial beings. So the extraterrestrials are like us, but further out.
Yeah, there's something else that a guru is somebody who knows maybe just a little bit more than you. They don't have to be any great source of incredible knowledge, but if there's a guru in CE5 and HICE, it would be either Ray Hernandez, who's been a guru to me, and Dr. Joseph Burks. And two things this week. I was in contact with Ray through the internet, and he turned me on to Mrs. Tweedy Early.
Mrs. Tweedy Early?
Mrs. Tweedy Early, okay. And
it sounds like a setup.
Well, no, it does, but she was an early votary of Hindu Sufism, and she was a spiritual trainer and of way before, basically in our parents' times. And he dug up this video of her, which was highly edifying, and I recommend it to everybody. I posted it on the imho.love site.
Okay.
And she got some wonderful things in there. And it really, I studied Sufi poetry when I was an undergraduate. And you have poets like Rumi and Heifetz, who are just off the charts wonderful. And what they end up talking about is essentially the kind of meditations we do. And for those people that don't know what Sufism is a sect unto itself that existed even before Hinduism and even before Islam. And the Sufis have been persecuted and put to death by both the Hindus and the Muslims.
What is it with everybody?
Well, especially with the Sufis, they had the stones to sit outside the temples and the mosques and say, why are you going in there?
Right.
I mean, you got everything you need right here. That's exactly what Jesus said too.
Right.
And it didn't do him much good for publicity, But another example, and a lot of what he may have been preaching was a form of Sufism and Hinduism as well. But what they focus on, what she focuses on, is the heart chakra in particular. And then once you find your heart chakra and do your meditation, then all the other chakras start falling into place, which is exactly what we do in our CE5s and our HIC get-togethers. We go to the heart chakra and we make the connection, and that seems to be the most viable connection with our ET non-human intelligences that we do. So she was spot on there. And then, of course, my education kicked up, and I remembered a poem called the Speech of the Birds, or it's commonly known as the Conference of the Birds, and I've posted this on our site as well.
Oh, wow.
It's by a poet by the name of Attar, and it's really a wonderful poem, and it goes. And I suggest if you're listening to this, go to the website and listen to it, because the lady does a wonderful translation on it, and it's lyrical. And I won't spoil it. I'm not going to be the spoiler for you, but when you listen to the poem and you hear it, you'll understand exactly everything that we stand for, and the Sufis stood for as well. And there's an ancient connection between what we're doing and making our actual connections with ET and bringing them in, and the kind of meditation and the love and the general acceptance of everybody that the Sufis lived many, many thousands of years ago and still live today the same way.
That's beautiful. And, Michael, being involved with this show and this, HICE movement is it's very huge in its expanse of knowledge and awareness, but it's also so incredibly simple. It's like we talk all the time about how it's like 359 degrees away. The simplicity is right there, and then you have all this complexity that you have to go all the way around the world to find, and you come back to the simplicity. And what it also notices as I study for topics on the show and things to talk about with our audience, it seems to me all through history, there are beautiful groups of people that want to live a peaceful, calm life. And they just want to enjoy their family. They want to enjoy their dwelling. They want to enjoy their spirituality.
And then there's the rest of the world with IQs of less than 120 that want to have war and kill each other.
What, dude, it's like it never, I mean, and it's just this constant rotation of people that don't want those people to have that.
Right. And I'm glad you said that. Giorgio Piacenza sent me a video, and we used to talk, about 6 months ago, we were talking about, geez, I wonder if they have any CE5 groups in Russia and China.
Right.
Well, there's actually a CE5 group now. We know there's one in Tokyo, but that's, the Free West. And, but there's one in Formosa now, and they had contact and they posted their contact. So,
wow.
Yeah. So the question is will these things, I'm sure it'll come in Russia, but China's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
The Chinese have a vested interest in really keeping their population under control and not having access to the free contact with the spiritual and extraterrestrial beings.
Well, I tell you what, their technical, their technical advancements are frightening.
It's because they can steal American technology before we even know it's gone.
It's so funny, man. Like when I was a young guy, out trying to earn a buck, I'm going back 40 years now. Yeah, about that. And I used to go to swap meets and flea markets and stuff like that. And my specialty was tools. I would buy and sell tools. And I remember the very, very first set of Chinese wrenches I ever saw. And, like a set of Craftsman, we'll just say they were $90. Okay. Well, here comes these Chinese wrenches for $25. Okay. And I said, well, for $25, I'm just using it on this. Why don't I pick this up? Okay. And just to try it out. But they were so metallurgically inferior. They looked like what it was I wanted, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Right. They did the same thing with shovels too. You could have we ever heard of like breaking a shovel head, like digging with it.
After 10 minutes.
Yeah, after 10 minutes.
I actually, and I'm not putting them down, but it's been that way. And in fact, I remember during those days meeting with some people that there were, they actually had a line of product that they classified in in something, everything that was of quality used to say made in the USA. Okay. They had a tilted phraseology. It was made in USA. That was like the branding. It wasn't U period, S period, A period. It was USA. And it was Chinese stuff trying to be sold as American stuff.
Right.
And of course it was inferior. And I just, they are absolute geniuses at making look-alike things. But consequently, if you look inside this computer, that computer, your phone, these are all made in China.
Yeah.
And apparently they've gotten over
a good deal of it. Yeah. Well, how they got over it was when they found that people were chincing on the quality control, they just kill them.
That
it was like, sorry guys, do it right or you die.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, actually.
And they have some absolutely staggering statistics. A friend of mine, Steve Anderson, he's a school teacher over in China. You've combated with Steve on the Facebook before.
Yeah. Yes, we have some differences of opinion.
Yeah, well, he's and that's what makes it weird about him. I know he's hurt right now. He just lost his sister, so condolences, and I'm not going to pick on him. But it's funny. He's an expat that goes over to China and then blasts the American media. So I'm just like, dude, if you ain't here duking it out with us, really, come on.
Just another Tokyo Rose.
Come on, tell us the story. But my friend Tom Rhodes has traveled through China extensively.
Tommy the Commie.
Tommy the Commie. That's his little, they're all at home over there. But the thing, I love them just the same. But the thing that there's a staggering statistic. There are more Chinese soldiers than there are Americans.
And there are more Chinese smokers than there are Americans.
Really? They all smoke, don't they?
Well, there's I think last count was 300 million smokers or something. Or
300 million smokers. Yeah. That's a bunch.
Or more than that now, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that was a staggering statistic that there's more military people there than we have people.
Yeah. During the Korean War, I had a friend who was in the Marines, and he was overrun at I forget the name of the reservoir, but he said they just kept on coming, and they couldn't kill them fast enough, and the bodies just kept on piling up over their own over our own foxholes. Wow. They just came in waves and waves and waves. And after studying this a little bit, the reason they were coming in waves and waves and waves is that their feet were so frozen that they would have been killed if they'd gone the other direction. They just kept on charging because they were either going to die of frostbite and amputation or die of American gunfire.
That's a bad situation to be in.
That is a bad situation.
Man, that's between a rock and a rock.
Yeah, so when the Americans retreated, the Chinese were in such bad shape, the infantry was in such bad shape that they couldn't chase the retreat because their feet were so frozen and they just couldn't walk anymore.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's a brutal society.
Oh, and folks, that's the core of our show is here we are. And when I hear people really, really complaining about this country, yeah, we got problems galore. But you know what? In your own personal space right now, I mean, if you're of sound mind and body and you can make it around, you can live in the top 10 percentile of the world right now. You can have a home with climate controlled environment. You can drive a car with shiny wheels, and you can have food within arm's reach at any time. And for you not to be grateful for that, for you to sit and complain. And it dawned on me a little bit, actually this evening driving into the show. I've been under the weather the last couple of days. I got this little bug that jumped on me, and I had no idea my body contained so much liquid because I've purged a lot of it. And but I'm driving down to the show, and I'm sitting there going, man, I don't really feel that good tonight. And, I'm kind of, I'm just getting a little whiny on myself, And then I literally see this guy pull out of the woods on a $2 bicycle, homeless dude, really dirty. I don't know where he had been or had not been, but he hadn't been near a bath in a while. And I'm just going, man, I got nothing to complain about. And a lot of us, especially if you're listening to the show on your computer or on your phone or wherever you're listening, we really need to be very grateful for the level of comfort and ease of our life that is available to us. Now, of course, part of the things that we do here is we look behind the tapestry. Yes, it's a beautiful tapestry on the front, but if you turn it over, there's all kinds of gnarled strings and knots and things that don't match and all that other stuff. But that's how tapestries are made, and consequently, you have to look at both sides and be grateful that you're actually part of this tapestry. You were chosen to live in this society by some grand plan, whoever orchestrated it.
And if you're listening to us right now, the chances are that your karma is such that this is your last time through this planetary existence.
Yeah.
So if you're working on it, you're in the right place.
I just had a wonderful friend remind me the other day that I'm a Scorpio. Okay. And this is actually my last trip around. They say this is when you make it to Scorpio, that this is your exit performance. And I was very, very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Whether it's actually true or not, I don't know, but I'll take it. And thank you for sharing that with me.
Well, I think Scorpio is very chancy, but if you're actually following the way and trying to figure it all out and becoming a more spiritual being and understand the oneness of it all, and I think that's a better indicator. And it certainly is, living in this, no matter how bad it is, it's certainly better than, being a U.S. Marine fighting 250,000 Chinese that are trying to kill you at the Chosin Reservoir. I looked it up. It's Chosin Reservoir. Sorry, I forgot it, but it was the
Chosin Reservoir.
Chosin Reservoir.
Yeah.
Battle of Jangin Lake. So
yes.
Thank you, Google.
Yeah. All that being said, though, you still can't get I can get a Scorpio coffee cup, which reminds me of just how wonderful all this is.
And it's made in China.
Damn it.
See, hey, you posted a good little meme on the website this week. It was a quote by George Bernard Shaw, and it said, "Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything." And I think that's pretty well sets out what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, and we're not cattle prodding anybody. We're just trying to lay out some really, really sensible information that you can take and you can understand, and apply it to your own life. We say Chris Gorgeous just joined us here. Thank you, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
We love Chris. Chris was our producer when we had the Lutopia show last year. And we thank you very much, Chris, for all your efforts. He's our guest host here on imho.love, and a very, very funny comedian. If you get a chance to see Chris Gorgeous's show, it's a good one.
Hey, let me bring something else up. I was talking about my gurus, but Dr. Joseph Burks is another one of them.
Yeah, you got to meet him.
Joe is cool. It doesn't look a day over 55, and he's like knocking on 70. So
nice.
If there's any positive effects from contact, I think he's definitely an example of it.
Okay.
But what he ended up correcting me on this week was he used the term contact worker instead of contactee. So those of us who go out
contact worker.
Yeah.
I like it.
Just like HICE, and he straightened me out about CE5 and why it's actually a more pejorative term, and why HICE is the better usage. But because contactee is a passive, it's a noun that is inherent with passivity.
Mm-hmm.
So you're waiting for somebody to contact you. We don't. We actually work in the fields. We do our field work, and his preference is to call us contact workers, and I agree.
It's like an extraterrestrial phone room.
Yeah. The bullpit. The bullpit.
They think it shows up on their little cell phone. Oh, it's the IMHO guys again.
It's like, well, hey, let's face it. We have the most powerful transmitter of any CE5 broadcasting group on Earth.
The more I study all of this, because as we find out as we go through life that everything is connected. This is a cyclical life. Okay, things that happen to you 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, or however many years you've been here, they're going to come back around, especially if there was, like an element of truth or love within them. They're going to come back around. And I find this a lot, especially when the like you look at all the vibrations and the frequencies of water, the frequencies of sand, and the frequencies of vibration. This is all stuff that's running. It's 24 hours a day. None of this ever stops. And that's the other thing that was dawned on me the other night. I was up late, and I went, I go, even though I'm about to go to sleep, I'm still here. I'm still working. This whole thing doesn't end. It doesn't shut off, and it doesn't come back on. So actually, you meet somebody that's 70, 80 years old, man, their machine has been running a very, very long time. And just like I said, these last couple of days I've been under the weather, and it's been many years since I called it a Bukowski session, where you get to just sleep. I called off of work, which is really rare. And I look back and come to find out I have not been sick in 4 years. I've not missed a day of work in 4 years. All that being said, I had the time to sit. I had the time to rest. I had the time to sleep when I felt like it. And trying to heal yourself, sleep is very, very important. And that's what happened to me. Because last week, I ran like a dog, dude. I did 50, 60 hours at my day job. And every night I played McCurdy's Comedy Theater. And for those of you unfamiliar with the area, Clearwater to Sarasota is an hour and a half drive. And I did that every night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and not to mention working the whole week as well. And then Monday, this bug jumped on me and just threw me to the canvas like Jesse the Body Ventura.
Well, that's what happens when you let yourself get run down. You become more susceptible to disease entering, so your ability to fight it off decreases. Yeah. So that's why you took a big chunk there, man.
Yeah, I did, and people always ask me what I'm doing, and I just abbreviate. I go zoom, zoom, zoom. Maybe it's time just to go zoom, zoom.
Yeah. Om.
Om is even more important. We got about 1 minute left, Michael, then we got to go play the bad news. And just know, folks, that we do not sanction this news that is played on this station. It comes with the package.
Yeah, nor the parties that engage in it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so funny. I even take my earphones off during the break. But we're going to be back in just a little bit, and we will have these false flag things. The things that start wars and conflicts. They're popping up again. And there's a couple of things I want to discuss, and it's been a popular thing. Even History Channel did a great series of false flags with Dolan was his name, the narrator. He did a fantastic job on it. Richard Dolan, yeah. So if you get a chance to watch that, man, I mean, for those of you who are still towing the mainstream media line, you need to look outside.
Yeah. Also, there's some new FBI documents that came out this week that shed some light on the Mossad 9/11 connection. So
that is very important and very interesting, and we'll talk about that in the second half of the imho.love show. Thank you so much for listening, folks. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Michael Murbug right there. And like I said, we got to take a little break, but we'll be back real soon.
When I should be out where the lights are bright.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.
WZHR, Zephyr Hills.
FM 104.3.
Listen.
Deal cut, cover-up walkout. I'm Barbara Cusack. The House Oversight Committee cut a deal with President Trump's lawyers to seek an expedited appeal in the case with lawmakers seeking Trump's financial records from his accounting firm. Meanwhile, a second judge today again ruled against Trump concerning subpoenas from two banks he did business with. Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff says this signals a clear rebuke of the president's legal defense.
It sends a message that two different judges, same conclusion, not just that you're wrong, but your arguments don't even raise serious legal questions. And what's more, we're not going to be a party to an effort to delay Congress in the discharge of its oversight responsibilities.
An infrastructure meeting with congressional leaders ended abruptly as President Trump walked out. Correspondent Caitlin Collins reports House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had earlier said Trump was involved in a cover-up.
Talks in Washington about impeachment have intensified in recent days and clearly rattled the president.
The I word. Can you imagine?
Today, the House Speaker left it at this.
I pray for the President of the United States, and I pray for the United States of America.
The day after dozens of abortion rights demonstrators took place across the U.S., correspondent Steve Kastenbaum reports supporters of strict new abortion laws like Alabama's held a counter-demonstration at the state's capital.
Sarah Howell is with the Charismatic Episcopal Church for Life.
Abortion has hurt women in Alabama.
Becky Garrettson is executive director of a conservative organization called Eagle Forum Alabama. She told the crowd that rapists love abortion.
Abortion destroys the evidence of rape.
The group vowed to continue fighting until the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade.
Checking out a new feature of Tesla's autopilot that automatically changes lanes, Consumer Reports says it does not work well and could be a safety risk to drivers. But Tesla contends when the system is used properly, drivers have safely made millions of lane changes. I'm Barbara Cusack.
One good thing about perennials, they return every year. Another good thing? The Home Depot has gallon varieties, now 3 for just $12. Healthy, happy, and regionally selected so they're bred to thrive. Let them put down some roots and stay a while in your garden. Come next spring, they'll return the favor, again and again. Today is the day for doing, with gallon perennials, 3 for just $12. Now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Selection varies by store.
Technology Truths, brought to you by Geico.
Technology Truths.
Truth, you think you can solve any problem by turning your computer off and on.
Hey man, is something wrong with your laptop? Nah, just need to turn it off and on. It's no problem. It's smoking. Yeah, that just means it needs to reboot.
Truth, it's so easy to switch and save on car insurance at geico.com.
And now it's on fire. Happens all the time. It's all good.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
If you would like to become a wholesale buyer of the premium quality longevity product that you hear about right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network for personal service, you can pick up the phone right now and call Lola at 727-441-3311. Again, that's Lola at 727-441-3311. Or for even faster service, log on to tantalkhealth.com. That's tantalkhealth.com. Here's to your health and longevity.
This is Mark Skogman, host of Spectrum 360 on the Tan Talk Radio Network. Spectrum 360 is a political talk radio program that features politics, the arts, and popular culture from a progressive point of view. Spectrum 360 broadcasts for 1 hour weekly on Monday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Time and anytime via podcast at tantalk1340.com. Remember, Spectrum 360, politics from a progressive point of view.
We take care of our own. Wherever this flag's flown.
Tuesday, the Rays opened a short 2-game series against the Dodgers, who scored early and often against Tampa Bay pitching.
You just can't allow much more. How much pressure can you put on your defense? Swing line drive up the middle, base hit into center field by Barnes. Seager scores. Verdugo stopped at third. The throw goes to the plate, so following up all the way to second is Barnes. The Dodgers now lead 3-0.
LA scoring in 3 of the first 4 innings against the Rays. Tampa Bay did make it interesting in the 7th.
Swing ground ball back up the middle, base hit into left center field. In to score is Adames. Meadows heads for third. He will stop there, and into second with head first dive is Tommy Pham. And it's 6-3 LA.
But 6-3 was as close as the Rays got. They end up losing this game 7-3. We'll seek a split of the series on Wednesday with Ryan Stanek opening, airtime at 6:30. With the Race Report, I'm Neil Solondz.
Catch the Rays all season on the Rays Radio Network. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com.
Let's go bowling!
Let's Go Bowling, heard on the Tan Talk Radio Network every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12 Eastern Time. Sponsored by 12 Strike and Innovative Ball Spinner. If you bowl, if you haven't bowled in a while, or if you never bowled, why don't you be one of 65 million people have bowled last year? Listen to the tip of the week. Bowling stars, old and new. Let's Go Bowling Show, gobowlingshow.com.
There's only one place on the radio where golfers like you can turn for the best tips, interviews, product reviews, local tournaments, and everything golf talk. The Golf Show, guys.
Hey, join the Golf Show, guys, every Wednesday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. It's not just funny, it's informative, it's celebrities, and it's a lot of applause. It's the Golf Show, guys, Wednesday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second half of the imho.love show. Lou Angelwolf here, Michael Murbug next to me, and we're having kind of a potluck of discussion tonight. Was there anything particular that you wanted to cover tonight, Michael?
Well, there are actually a couple of things. We have a few months ago, we were talking about, when we had Buddy on the show, how funny would it be or what a great place the world might be if we had comedians running countries, and then all of a sudden you get Vladimir Zelensky, a young, I think he's 40-year-old comedian from Ukraine, to get elected to run the country, and he dissolves the parliament first thing he does.
And really,
yeah,
he's dissolving the parliament.
Dissolve parliament, yeah.
He did, or
yeah, he did.
He did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go home. We want different people here.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's working?
Well, so far nobody's killed him.
Yeah. I mean, damn.
And he was like a shot, a shot out of left field. I mean, I'm sure that the CIA, who set up the government in Ukraine, at least the president, and I don't know about the present one, but our hands were in on that one pretty badly.
Sure.
And he's looking to make peace on the Eastern Front with Russia, with no seceding territory, and secure the rights of ethnic Russians in the Eastern Ukraine, so that they're not burned to death like they were in Odessa 3 years ago, when they locked 50 of them in the customs house and burned it down.
Man, I tell you, and that's what I was talking about in the first half. Americans, you don't really know how good you got it.
Because you don't get this news either.
Yeah, it's true. And yeah, I mean, and it is less covered news. And actually, a friend of mine from high school, Jessica, is listening to us. She's in Turkey for some particular reason. I know she's kind of a global traveler. So,
Afalafakan.
Yeah,
it's a soupy sales.
Oh yeah,
okay, yeah. It sounds so romantic in Turkey. It's okay. You got to be an old guy to know that.
You missed me by a couple years on that. And thanks everybody for listening. Harvey Myers, fantastic guitar player and singer, listening to the show, and our friend Donna Rouge, Mark Cottingham, and then the scroll goes down from there. But thanks everybody who's listening right now, and everybody that listens every week. And Mark Cottingham, thanks for tuning your dad in the other week. I tried to get to it, but the subject kept bouncing around. And thanks so much, because these are popping up on the other side. And Linda Anderson wanted to know what's the website to get in touch with you for the HICE experience. She wants to get we'll send her down a protocol. And
yeah, well, she can just email me at Darby Ranch, DARBY Ranch CE5 at gmail.com. That's the easiest way.
Yeah.
And then the group website is Tampa HICE/CE5 Darby. You can just put Tampa HICE/CE-5 and it'll come up.
There you go. Okay. And that's for those of you interested in the extraterrestrial exercise that we do, our beautiful sky watch. And I tell you, we've had some really, really beautiful moments out there. Really, really peaceful people and a peaceful time. And I like to take advantage of it for the grounding experience. You get to sit there in a nice lawn chair or lay right on the ground and just commune with Mother Earth there. Just put your feet in the dirt. And if you do that for 20 minutes, they say it actually changes your your skeletal vibration.
It's a nice evening of constant meditation, and then we break and people want to talk. They go in the house, have coffee, and they come back out, and we do 2 or 3 group meditations throughout the evening. It's very peaceful and it's very nice, and you make your way into Sunday, and you're rested, and you have a wonderful Sunday as well.
And there's some beautiful healing energies too that happen too out there. Well, anyway, folks, this is the imho.love show, and that's in my humble opinion. And that's all of this is. We have our opinions about things, and we pay a little more attention to less reported news, maybe news from alternative systems, alternative sources, as opposed to what they're bilking out at you on the squawk box in your house. Just that blinking light.
Corporate media that's trying to control you.
And, and I really believe it's true. I've done some research on it, and all of your news comes from 7, which is maybe even a little liberal. It could be as few as 5. 7 media sources right now. And consequently, all those 7 are owned by the same people. So you're just getting a slight twist on everything. That's why there's no big departure in the news. And you go, oh, I watch Fox News. Well, all you're getting is the side of the news that appeals to you, that tickles your ears.
They even use the same scripts.
Yeah, they all read the same things. And, I feel bad for a guy that really wanted to set out and be a true journalist and report the truth as close as he could find it.
Yeah, they're shooting him now. There's a game that came out this week that people are decrying because it's the goal in the game is to kill the journalist.
What?
Yeah. That one's out there now.
Yeah, there goes my creative writing class.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of it is these days. But, something we touched on the first half is historically, like right now, okay, there are ships, American ships headed for the
Persian Gulf.
For the Persian Gulf. And everybody's on guard, and Trump is chest thumping these guys, and it is part of a plan. They are the last of it's either 5 or 7 countries that needed to be converted to the global banking system.
Right, and Netanyahu wants them.
Exactly, and Netanyahu just got reelected again just to make sure all that stuff goes really smooth.
Yeah, even though they're he's being prosecuted for fraud.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, politics is so ugly and it's so dirty, and nobody's right and everybody's wrong. And I can tell you, Michael, there was a huge phase in my life where I was very pro-Israel. I believed a good amount of their rhetoric, and and they present it well. I mean, it's got a incredible spin on it. They are the champions at victimization, and you just keep
and overplaying a bad hand.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't agree more there.
And one of the problems is, and what I know we're going to talk about, is so many Jewish people, including some of my friends and some of my family who are Jewish, don't understand the underlying history as to how they got where they are, how the Zionists got where they are, and this cannot be a condemnation of Jews. No. It is a condemnation of a substrata of human beings that know no humanity, that have disguised themselves with the Jewish faith and religion facially only to achieve dastardly ends in this world. And what we're going to talk about has lost me friends, and the friends I lost, I'm better off without them.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
because we're talking truth to power.
And this goes back. We're going to study up on this. In fact, we'll save this. Okay, this is about the Khazars, Khazars. If you want to do some pre-research and look some of this stuff up for yourself, there's some incredible information on the web, and there's some information that how it doesn't get covered more, I don't know.
It's the same reason you can't talk about it on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing. In the same reason that you won't find the videos up anymore on YouTube. It's the massive amount of censorship that the powers are imposing on us for speaking about these truthful issues, these historical issues of fact that they want to bury.
Yes. And please understand that we're not putting down our Jewish brothers and sisters. If you're really following the Jewish faith, you're living a righteous life. And I have all the respect in the world for anybody that can do that. But that's not the case with these people. They are, well, let's put it this way. I'll put a teaser in here, and we'll get to this next week.
Yeah.
I'd really like to be. I mean, I have an overall understanding of it, but I would really like to have some more citing details to share with our listeners.
Yeah, prepare a little bit more for this than like out in the car in the half an hour before we get a gun.
Dude, I've been on Mars for the last 2 days. So
yeah, we'll actually think this one out.
Yeah, and then we'll actually do a show, and we'll see how censored it gets.
Yeah.
But actually, the scripture says that they are the synagogue of Satan. Which is frightening.
And tying this back into CE5 again, there's a group in Israel that does CE5, and I had and I followed their group, and somebody on the group said, "Hey, when can we bring some Palestinians in to do a CE5?" And I just thought that was remarkable.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, CE5, human-initiated contact experiences, may actually bring peace to the world, and I'm really hoping for it.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing that I love about this show, because regardless, and see, all this stuff that we actually talk about and discuss is in the lower realms. It really is in the lower. All politics is in the lower realms of our existence. Okay, the fact that people argue partisan politics just makes my head spin. Because we have a two-party system that runs a one-party government. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You elect.
It's not your party, and you ain't invited.
Well, there's that. That's George Carlin. It's a great big club, and you ain't in it. You elect the blue guy one time, you don't like what the blue guy does, then the next time, well, you need to make change. Let's elect the red guy, and the red guy doesn't do what you want. It's because they don't have anything to do with it. All it is there's a controlling factor behind them that meters out the information that they dispense. That's all it is. And actually arguing Democrats and Republicans and liberals, it's the biggest waste of time ever, because that's not the problem. It just makes you think it's the problem.
And if you think like we're sitting here wearing our tinfoil hats, talking about this stuff, the reality is the same people that control the country are also controlling disclosure of ET, UFO, NHIB. As matter of fact, I posted a video. I call him Disclosure Jesus. I forget what his real name is.
Disclosure Jesus.
Disclosure. He looks like the part. Somebody actually did
Ike?
Oh no, I won't know it anyway.
Okay.
But somebody did a painting of the Last Supper, and they've got him in the middle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he looks the part. He's got the long hair and all. But his YouTube video came out this week, and the title was "UFO Invasions Will Force Disclosure." And I have a tendency to agree with him, but he is not a contactee. He's not a contact worker. He's not an experiencer, so he's still a little bit on the scary side. But he gets the message across. It's like, look, you got the government now. The CIA's admitted, yeah, we had a program, but we're not studying them anymore, which we all know is BS, because the CIA lies about everything.
Sure.
I mean, they get paid to lie in front of Congress, and nothing ever happens to anybody. So why wouldn't they lie about this and the fact that they have 0 point energy, and it's all under the control of the United States government? No, not even the government. This is the cabal. This is the deep state, the deep dark state that that started with the funding of $1.3 trillion with the Anderson Trust that was based on all the gold that was taken out of China during World War II and captured by the Japanese, and used to fund the CIA operations in 1947 when the OSS was changed over to the CIA. Massive, $1.3 trillion in 1945 dollars. Let's talk about that.
That was a bunch of money.
Not to mention today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of money today, but
it was all based on gold. So if the price of gold back then was 34, bucks an ounce, and it's $1,200 an ounce today, just wow,
man.
Yeah. So that's the amount of capital that we're talking about that's behind the dark ops in the CIA.
Imagine what Mr. T is worth.
Oh,
it's a lot.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry.
I pity the poor fool.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the imho.love show. It's a live show. We're here every Wednesday night at 7:30 on the YouTube feed from tantalk1340.com. And of course, the imho.love show is the mothership that carries all these shows. And we're easy to find. Just imho.love and something will pop up.
Yeah, and do that on YouTube too, and get the shows and get them out there. If you have a site, disseminate them, please. Right now, I'm still in Facebook truancy, so I can't post on anybody else's site except ours.
You're a little troublemaker.
Yeah, because I keep on saying stuff that gets me in trouble, like the truth.
I don't mind. I'll stand with you, brother.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, they keep coming. We'll just keep taking them down. And that's the thing, is you really can't, and like I said, we dispense opinions here, but there are levels of truth that are being denied in lieu of opinion. And we're not trying to present that. We're trying to present as truthful as we can. And there are things, and you have to kind of go with your gut a little bit. And if you're looking for answers to clues, there's things that are going to resonate within you, where you'll have the little bit of knowledge that'll go, that sounds like truth. And when you realize how common these methods of governments are over the years, the whole false flag thing has been happening for hundreds and hundreds of years. Actually, Alexander the Great did it. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And you're seeing more and more of this. It's just, there's the bad guys.
That's part of American history. I mean, the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah.
Let's dress up like a bunch of Indians and throw the tea into the river. It's like, let's blame it on somebody else.
Yeah.
It was
like,
like,
there has to be a stooge.
What were they thinking about? Bringing the Native Americans into a tax conflict between the Dutch and the English. But that's just a lame false flag.
That was a weak one.
That was a weak one, but
that was a used car pennant.
So did the Iran one too. The last couple of weeks they were trying to pull a false flag, and they got one upped and caught on it.
It's funny. I've been watching some stuff on false flags, and I remember this vividly when we started the shock and awe back in '91. Remember? And they literally had a news reporter behind some indoor plant that was easily on a green screen.
Right.
And they go, oh, here comes a bomb. So they pretended they could hear this bomb whistling, and they put on their helmet and they went and ducked behind the plastic plant.
It's like oh shit! What was that show back in the '60s where the guy wore the German helmet and he jumped?
Hogan's Heroes?
No, it was. It'll come to me later.
Okay.
But yeah. And think about this: the guy's name is Wolf Blitzer.
Right.
It's like, let's, Mr. Lightning War. I mean, I heard he dumped the Krieg. So to make it more palatable for television. Otherwise, it would have been Wolf Blitzkrieger.
That's funny. Well, and
laugh it. That's it.
laughing. Oh yeah, very interesting. That was
Exactly.
Artie Johnson.
Artie
was
Johnson,
the actor. Yeah.
jumping behind the plant.
And he would go, very interesting, but stupid.
What's stupid? That's
Yeah.
exactly
It's
what we
perfect,
have.
right?
It's
Isn't
like
that perfect?
way before its time.
I tell you, they always predict. They're going to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. They do it every time. So, but there was one that I know that we've talked about a few times on the show, and something that these things are not things that happen somewhere else. These are things that happen here. And the big one probably was the Gulf of Tonkin incident in 1964,
right?
When we reported that the North Vietnamese had fired on the USS Maddox. And as history unveiled itself, that was completely untrue, that they never fired on the USS Maddox. But it was enough of an excuse to persuade the press, persuade Congress, persuade whomever to start our conflict in Vietnam full force. We'd been occupied Vietnam since 59. And then in 64, they go, oh, let's light this match. And they did. And 58,000 plus American military people died there, and over 1 million Vietnamese. And
Easily over 1 million.
Easily over 1 million.
And created the destabilization for all of Southeast Asia that resulted in Pol Pot in Cambodia killing 3 million Cambodians.
That's something I really have to study, because even in every history class, I never heard of that. Every history class I took, I never got the skinny on that.
Right.
It's like they didn't cover it. It's like it didn't happen. How did that not happen? How did we not know about the death of 3 million people?
Because you're being manipulated. The history that you get in your schools, the public school system is a system of manipulation and controlled growth of the American youth. They get put into a box and they become a product.
Exactly. And
they don't want people to think. They want people to be automatons.
They want good workers. And around the turn of the century, and back in around 1900, the Rockefellers made gigantic contributions to the educational system, especially the colleges and universities. And because they made such great contributions, got to appoint people to boards and councils, and they also helped figure out what to contribute and what to tell the students. What should the curriculum be? They had control of the curriculum, and to the victors go the history. So consequently, even though there was not a direct war over that, they got, because of their financial manipulation, they won that little war, and that war was for our minds. And what they did is they found a way to make us think a certain way over the last 100 and some years. And I'm telling you, you got to bust out of it. You've got to challenge almost everything. And that's what we're trying to lean you back towards, is all this stuff is rubbish. Inside of you is the element of love. And that element of love is aching to come out of you. We got 1 minute left. And that's what we're here to help you find out and sort out. And you got to be willing to deny some of the things that you think you know. You may not know it. And we're not saying we're completely right.
Yeah, and if you know something is a fact and you want to challenge something, we say please do, because guess what? That's how the truth gets ironed out. That's how the sword of truth is forged, is by conflicting sides of facts until the true fact is known and it's honed and it's sharp and you can cut with it.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have spent another hour with the imho.love show, and I thank you all very, very much. I didn't get to say hi to some people tonight, but thank you very, very much for listening. We're here every Wednesday night at 7:30. The show is also it's on tantalk1340.com on their YouTube page for a little while, but it's permanently archived on imho.love and extra permanently archived on BitChute. So
like us, subscribe, spread it around.
we sure appreciate your time, and we love our audience. And Jessica, you be careful over there in Turkey if you're still listening, whatever you're doing over there.
Yeah.
Maybe shopping for a rug. Excuse me for being so stereotypical. Ladies and gentlemen,
guns. They're really good at armor.
Are they good at guns too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Guns and rugs.
Yeah.
Send lawyers guns and rugs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Turkey. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. See you next week on the imho.love show.
And it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky.